Now, it's been something like, I was looking at my stats, it's only 60 years since Attlee's government introduced the 1947 Town and Country Planning Act, which I think largely has, stood us in good stead. But things have changed an awful lot since then. A greater awareness of the environment, housing need, population changes, you name it. Things have changed a great deal. And I'm only going to speak for a couple of moments, but there's a couple of really important statistics that I think are well worth getting out there into the debate. The first one is 2.4 million tonnes of carbon have been produced, while plans for enough renewable energy sources to power 2.1 million homes have been stuck in the planning system. And the other one I would throw into the mix is the fact that it can take 10 years for an application for a wind farm to go through the process and to ultimately be producing electricity. Now, I think within that context we need to make changes, and the planning white paper, I think, is a step in the right direction. We need to have clear, accountable frameworks, but at the same time, 60 years, the old legislation has largely remained intact, and I think it's a truly British piece of legislation. I mean, in this country we do like to tie ourselves up in red tape, and if we possibly can, kind of make a decision and then go to appeal and then go through another consultation process and keep things going for very many years if we possibly can. Not in the interests of government nationally, our frameworks and our priorities, certainly not in the interests of local government, which is often on the wrong side of that process and loses out, and also not in the interests of local people. Now, I won't go into the nuclear debate. I think that for others, if they want to dip their toe in that particular water, but I think it is worth remembering when we're talking about energy and the need to replenish 30% of our energy supplies and having a balanced portfolio so we're not entirely dependent on Russian gas come the year 2020. If you look at wind turbines, I don't think we've grasped the nettle quickly enough in terms of that particular renewable, and hence the technology is largely with the Scandinavians and the Portuguese. And when we talk about nuclear, let's not forget very many of these planning applications are in existing communities which have actually been built around this industry and are dependent on this industry. They're dependent on the jobs and the economic advantages that go with it. And also, I mean, I don't have to tell anybody in this room about the advantages in terms of low carbon technologies and what we have to do, the targets we've set ourselves in terms of 60% reductions by the year 2050. I'll leave it at that.